Right guys, welcome back to the Wood Junker, and today I'm making something I've made before, and this is the ideal time to use it because I've got all this leftover sapele and maple from the chair build. If you haven't seen that build, go and watch it, you'll probably enjoy it. And like I say, I've made this before and I made it out of pine, and I wanted to do it in maple and walnut, but I've got this sapele which is not far away from it and it's left over, so it's the perfect time to do it. So I'm just getting the visual in my head there. Even though I have made it before out of pine, it's totally different because this is hardwood. So it's an industrial lamp, as you can see, and there's all the leftover bits. You can see where I've chopped into it, tried things, made plugs, all that kind of thing for the chair. So the first rule of thumb here is I'm just going to clean it all up and see what's actually usable and what's not. So I'm just taking my time, making sure everything's cut clean, my hands are away from that saw, all that kind of thing, and then just marking up and just making sure to get all my sort of dimensions spot on. Now the maple, it's really hardwood, and it's, you know, I find it really nice to use, but it's really solid. So this is for the base section, and I'm going for sort of an harlequin design. And I'm just using my fingers there. I haven't got a glue spreader, but I have got wet wipes there, so that can do that. So I'm just gluing all these together, giving them a bit of rub there to get them to grab. And then I'll just clamp that, and then I just leave it overnight. There's nothing sort of more I can do with it really. You don't need loads and loads of pressure here. You see people and they put like loads and loads of pressure on it. Plenty of clamps and, you know, just the right amount of pressure. And as you can see here, I'm not happy with it. It's just not right. It's not right. There's a gap there. It must have slipped some road. I don't know what it was, but I'll sort that. So I'm getting my angles here to get to put a bit of detail. The detail's going in the base now as I make it. And the gaps I can clean up. And because my saw won't go straight through, I finish it off here with my Japanese saw, which are really handy. There's a link in the description to these as well. So guys, I would ask you, if you would, to subscribe to the channel. Beat the YouTube algorithm. I need to get to 10,000 subscribers, and I don't think YouTube are pushing the videos out as much for us smaller creators now. So if you're watching it, subscribing, hit the notifications and hit the like button, you know, you're helping out massively there. So I'm just ripping this. I haven't got a bandsaw, so I'm just going gingerly with it, just ripping that down. I'm just trying to get as much yield out of what I've got left as I can. And here's all the bits I need for the build, and that's what's left over. Again, now that there I'll put in a bucket. I'm not going to throw it because I will make some plugs with it, maple plugs, sapele plugs for that, you know, various projects. And I'm just getting down to marking out now. This is where you've got to sort of have your wits about you. You know, if you always sort of triple check your work here, because one mistake will make it look absolutely stupid in the end. And I make mistakes all the time. Probably we all make mistakes all the time. I'm just going through now with a Forstner bit. If anybody can recommend a good set of Forstner bits, that'll be much appreciated. These are from Rutland's, and I really don't like them. They're just not good at all. So what I did do with my press there is, you know, you've got to mess about with the speeds, different species of woods and all that, hardnesses and thicknesses, all that kind of thing. And I'm just shaping the ends round here, just using a little sander. Again, the sapele is an absolute joy to use. And come to the maple. Now with maple, when you're cutting it, when you're sanding it, or whatever you're doing, it tends to burn. So just be really careful. Just take your time with it. So I'm making another part here out of some of the scrap. And then here's where I'm starting now to thinking about repairing the damage that was on that. Well, I can say it's damage, it's not damage. And all I do is sand the base down, get it level, and then any gaps, I just put glue in and simply, you know, some sawdust, some of the sawdust I'm using, and then just sand over it. Keep doing that so you can't notice it, and it works out fine. Again, have it clamped down when using sapele. I made a mistake there, but I seen it at the last minute, and I managed to make an extra part which needed to be a tad longer. So everything gets a pre-sand here, and I'm sanding up to 180 grit, and I'm just rounding the sharp corners off. You can't really tell that they're rounded, it just takes that sort of really sharpness away from him. As you probably can see it there. I'm just marking out to fit that. Now, one of the things I was going to do was cut into that, but I'd already pre-drilled an hole on the bit that's going in and it wouldn't look right, so I've got to go in from screws from the bottom, and this is something I've got to be really, really careful of. So I'm just pilot drilling right the way through, and then I'm just sanding as I go on because I want to try and get it as nice as I can. Then I'm going right in here because I'm going to countersink a screw from underneath, 2 screws from underneath, and then I glue that section on and screw it on from the underneath. I just put that on there, I just leave it for, I go and have a coffee, something to eat, and I just leave it for a good hour, and I come back to it, and it just helps with that screwing when I'm putting it on. It just holds it a bit more. So I'm just sort of doing a bit of a dry fit here because I need to get my dimensions for the top, and seeing if that works okay, which it does. And then there are just draw knobs. I just bought some draw knobs off Amazon, and I used them on a previous build, and I've got loads of them. I've got a job lot of them. I think they stand at about £1.50 each, probably about $1.90 or something. So I'm just countersinking through that bit there. Again, sand, getting all pencil marks off where I can, and I'm really taking my time there as I go in. So I'm just putting some maple plugs in that top bit because I don't want any screws exposed, and I just tap them in nicely, just nice and gently. Then when it's all dry, just come back, flush cut them off. Again, more sanding. It seemed to be I was sanding with this project. I had it in my head, I just want to get it as best as I can. Even the bottom. So I'm just using, to finish it, I'm using a Danish oil. And it's going to get 2 coats. You'll see it at the end, and it'll only have had 1 coat on it, but I will go back because it'll pop the grain a little bit, and it'll, you know, raise the grain a little bit, should I say. Then I'll just have to re-sand it and go over it. And here's it's finished. Now it has got to have another coat of Danish oil, that, but this is what it'll look like when it's finished properly anyway. But as you can see there, articulated industrial lamp with 1950s vibe, going back to the anglepoise lamps, harlequin base, and this is all sort of the leftover materials I had. I got the light and cord and everything again from Amazon. And what do you think? Let me know. Let me know in the comments what you think of that. And then out a bit of the extra scrap, I just made these tea light holders, and I've got some electric ones somewhere, but I just had to show you these. I won't be putting these on because obviously fires and stuff like that and wood. But as you can see, sort of a stackable set of tea light holders. But I really like that. I like the way the draw knobs have just lifted it. Right guys, thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.